What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Too Much Test Podcast, episode 44. I'm Tester Levels. I am here with Sam Stolt as always, and we are here to talk about a lot of cool topics today. So thank you for being with us.
What's up, man? It's been a while since we recorded an episode. Holidays have passed. The new year has passed. It sounds like you have a new microphone.
Not necessarily a new one. Maybe I'm closer to it, but it's the same one that I've got.
Oh, the audio quality sounds very good. How was the New Year's and Christmas?
Crazy as always, man. That's how everyone is. You know, it's finding presents, going visiting family, cooking, having family over. You know, it's my favorite time of the year, but it's also my busiest time of the year. So it's like a catch-22.
Did you implement anything new into the PED stack, whether that's on the biohacking side or on the muscle building side?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, the last time we spoke, I just pretty much started taking the MK677, and I got to say, I've been taking it pretty consistently since then, and I'm liking it. I would say, bro, my left earphone just went out. All right, there we go. But yeah, the MK677 is pretty interesting. I've been taking it 20 milligrams a day. I take it at night right before I go to sleep. I'm doing 5 days on during the week, and then I take 2 days off. And I would say, man, I was going to say my shoulder, I just noticed this yesterday. My shoulder doesn't seem to be hurting as much when I was doing chest. I don't know if necessarily that's because of the MK, but I do feel like it's helping a little bit. I was going to talk about actually hunger-wise. Hunger-wise, I haven't really noticed. I think I noticed it for the first couple of days, but since I'm taking it at night, I haven't noticed any difference in hunger. So that's good.
No, like gigantic appetite when you wake up, right?
No, I wake up and I go to the gym fasted. And I don't really feel hungry. I have like a protein shake and a little protein bar when I get home, and I'm pretty good for a few hours.
Interesting. I think a lot of people have at least say they use. I feel like they use MK677 as an excuse to eat more garbage food.
Yeah,
because I don't have that experience. I've never had that experience with it, and I've been testing it for multiple. Maybe I'm weird, but I just feel like it's an excuse for most people to just binge on garbage food. So, what happened with your shoulder? So you had you used to have issues with your shoulder?
Oh yeah, I've dislocated it multiple times. First time I was on a skateboard, I did a double kickflip, landed toward the front of the board, and it just shot back. And I went straight down on my arm, and my arm was straight, and my shoulder popped out I don't know if you can see it, but it popped straight back. It went right back in, but hurt like son of a bitch. And after that, it's just loose. You know what I'm saying? Next time I dislocated it was on a weight bench. I was benching and my buddy was spotting me, and I was struggling right at the top. He's over there looking at some girl in tight pants, bent over. Yeah, he's not even paying attention. I'm over there freaking shaking, trying to lock this out. I lock it out, and my shoulder just goes click back and dropped the weight on me. Next time I dislocated, it was on a skateboard again, little mini half pipe, and long story short, the board shot out from under me, and I landed on my shoulder, and it popped out forward way.
Can you tell people if you're, how old are you?
40.
Why the fuck are you on a skateboard?
Well, this was years ago. This wasn't this wasn't last weekend that I was doing this. This was when I was I was 18, 19 at the time.
Okay.
So it's from a while ago, and I've kind of popped it out to where it's I know it's about to pop out just from weird angles. So it's fucked, and the surgery's bad. The surgery's 6-month recovery time. You lose a bunch of mobility, and it's just because they basically they hit you in 3 spots, cut you open. They cut your tendons, 3 of them, pull them tighter, and basically screw them into the bone. And so everything has to heal again, and it takes a while.
So do you, on push days, do you notice it? You said when the MK677 is starting to feel well, you don't know if it's from that or not, but on push days, you would notice it. Is it on would you notice it every push day, or every day you're doing a chest or shoulder?
It depends. It comes and goes sometimes. But typically on chest is when I'll feel it. Shoulders, I don't notice it as much vertically. If I'm doing like overhead presses in the machines, it's when I start to do like front raises. Oh, I was actually going to talk about this. Tried two new shoulder exercises. One of them I saw you do, and one of them I saw John Meadows do. Which one do you think I liked, and which one do you think I can't do?
You probably liked what I did.
No. No, no. So the one that John Meadows did, I really like because you can do it with lightweight. I still feel it, but you basically do a lateral raise, and then you bring it forward to like where you do a front raise. You bring it back and bring it down. Very simple, but you do 8 of those, and you do 3 sets, and dude, it kills your shoulders. And you do it with lightweight. I was doing it with like 10 or 12 pounds. But the one I saw you do was where you were on the seat, where you would normally like sit and do like overhead tricep extensions and stuff, and you were kind of bent over on it a little bit, and you were bent over, and you were bringing the barbell back like this, kind of with your arm out to get rear deltoids.
Yep.
And I was trying that, and it's on my right side, I can do it no problem. My left one, I just felt every single rep, it was just real sharp in the back of my shoulder.
Interesting. What type of weight were you using on that?
Light, 10 pounds.
Try it with like a 2.5. If you have 2.5s, try it with like virtually no weight or your bottle of water, because it's like when you're at that position, whatever it might be, where if somebody just pushes you slightly, you'll fall over. Where like normally if you're standing right with your legs spread shoulder width apart and you're up and you're paying attention, somebody could shove you a little bit and you might just like shuffle over a little bit, but you're not going to fall over. Where those other times where you're like slightly on the cusp of being off balance on the edge of one foot, and you know what I mean, you're holding something, right? Well, that's that type of exercise where it's almost like that you're vulnerable to that. And I notice I have to use like a really light weight when I do those exercises. But I want to finish about your shoulder. So every time you do chest, you would notice it in. Is that accurate? Every time you do chest, you'd feel it in your shoulder?
It's most of the time when I feel it is chest.
And so this week when you did it, you didn't notice it as much?
Yeah, it felt pretty. I mean, overall, the past like month, I feel like I felt it less and less. And I feel like if I really, it's gotten to the point where it doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I'm not going crazy heavy or anything, but it's gotten to the point where I don't really notice it that much, or really it's not on my mind. If I really wanted to go crazy, I mean, I could do like TB500, BPC-157, and MK at the same time. But for right now, I feel pretty good with it.
When I there's a nerve that goes from, probably I told this in here before, but there's a nerve in your armpit that goes down to your elbow and it comes to your finger. So a number of years ago, I was like overtraining triceps in terms of I was doing it I looked at like a picture of me and I noticed that I didn't have, this is probably like 6-7 years ago, I didn't have any triceps. I didn't feel like I had a tricep sweep. It was just like the back of your shoulder directly down, and didn't feel like I had the tricep. So I was training excessively to try to build it up. And during that time, I must have inflamed that nerve, so that when I would do like a tricep press down, I'd get pain in my elbow or like a clicking. Or when I did chest, I'd get a pain in my elbow, or overhead press, I'd get a pain. To the point where it got so bad where I'm sitting in like a captain type of a chair or whatever, where it's got the arm pieces on either side of the chair for anybody listening. And when I would go, you just don't even think about it. But like when you go to get up, you might use your hands at the same time to get up. Not that you need to, it's just your body wants to work synergistically. And I would feel it in my elbow then. Or even if you're laying in bed and then, I go to roll over and you might push your arm down just because your body's working synergistically to roll over in one direction. I'd feel it in my elbow. And what you're describing with your shoulder is like reminiscent of me and correcting my elbow, because that was when I took MK677 for 14 months. Like you've only been doing it for what, 5 weeks or 4 weeks or something?
I think maybe like 6, but the first couple ones I kind of wasn't as consistent.
So like I did that for the first month. I noticed maybe a smidge of a difference. I couldn't really tell. I was like, is this real? Maybe it's just, sometimes it just didn't bother me as much. I thought that might have been what it was. And then month number 2, you're like, well, no, I definitely feel like there's a little bit less of that pain on those exercises and the discomfort of stuff. By month number 3, it was like the stuff like getting up from a chair or like rolling over my bed, I barely noticed. And then by like month 9 to 10, I would only notice it like if I lifted in a certain way, that it would just like accidentally trigger that like popping pain in my elbow. So I just kept doing it, even though it was very infrequent. And like it appears you're still super early that you're like having that similar type of experience that I had. And it's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
give it time, give it enough time to do it. But like say 6 months or 9 months at a minimum. And it's like, getting rid of that pain and discomfort, glorious. You know what I mean? So mine was there for like 2 or 3 years before I was able to fix it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I think what I'm going to do, and I want to actually touch on a little bit of diet stuff. I've been putting a lot more meat in my mouth lately, so I wanted to touch on that. Just trying to be a little bit comical there, but I'm thinking schedule wise, because it's cutting time. We're coming up on summer here in the next few months, so I'll probably do like I'm probably going to say I'll do the MK677 till probably like April. Well, I may do it. I may do it throughout there. I haven't noticed any water retention. I may do it through summer. And then after summer, I think I'm going to do Nandrolone. I'm probably going to jump up to 250, probably continue with the MK677. That will probably be my next like stack. Now, testosterone wise, I don't know, maybe 200, maybe 500, maybe 300. I don't know. We'll see how I feel.
Will you wait till springtime to do 500 or whatever test or other stuff?
I don't know, man. I mean, the cutting bulking thing. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I hang out with my wife. I don't go to the beach to pick up chicks and shit, so it's not like,
It's not necessary at all.
No. But I did want to talk about diet. I know we've talked about like meat and fruit, meat diet. I've been eating a lot more meat, and basically like my meals are typically just like meat and vegetables. Like I've been cooking a lot of asparagus, and I know that you're not super big on vegetables, and we've talked about, why, fruits are colorful and our eyes are designed to see color. So I've been doing like fruit smoothies with protein and almond butter and protein powder like throughout the day. And then for like, I'll just eat meat and asparagus. And I haven't been doing any rice or anything. And I'm down to like 208, 209, which is one of the lowest weights I've been at in a long time. And I started at 247.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was when I started TRT. I was 247. I was fat. I wasn't working out. And now I'm like 208, 210 in that range with a lot more muscle and less fat.
Have you been consistent at this weight for like several weeks? Or do you notice that you like every couple weeks when you weigh yourself, you're like, okay, I was 212. Now I'm like 210. Then you might be 208, back to 210. And then you might be like 206 or something.
I haven't touched anything lower than 208. That's the lowest. I mean, during Christmas a little bit, I weighed at like 211, 212, but now I'm at like 210. So I'm like within 4 pounds, which I feel is, a relatively normal fluctuation, and, I mean, you fluctuate either day to day.
How do you feel? So I just went back to visit family for the holidays, and I got my mom doing carnivore. So she had cancer. She went through the chemotherapy. It's gone. Went through surgery, and she just feels like shit, right? So she's on testosterone right now, and she's like 70 years old or something like this, but she still feels extremely lethargic and just tired. And like one of her doctors has her on like 1,000 fucking pills of shit. And so I sent her like a carnivore book. And then it's by I think Sean Baker. And I was telling her about this and how I'm doing and how I feel freaking amazing. And so she started doing it, but it's as you do it, right? Like you don't just go from like the light switch being on to off. It's more so like, okay, well, let me use up the rest of this shit in my freezer that I bought already, right? And you kind of like do this slow transition as you change your habits into going from like how a lot of people eat to being primarily animal-based and fruit, right? And during the holidays, so she started to feel slightly better. And then during the holidays, she went and just had like other stuff during the holidays, like other types of food, and noticed that she was also way more bloated, more like diarrhea, not feeling good. She even broke out in rashes on her face multiple times. from like after having a certain type of meal, like then the next day she'd break out in a rash type of thing. And I also noticed the same, not with the rash or the diarrhea as much, but like I saw my girlfriend's family multiple times, and we would have what I had to see whatever they're going to, prepare. And I felt like bloated as shit. And I was also farting way more. So once you go on to like the animal-based diet, it's like, I don't know if you've noticed this, maybe not because you're still having the veggies, but I poop way, 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 way less. And I end up not being bloated even slightly at all. And I don't fart. Like I very infrequently fart now, where when I was younger, when I thought that the other way of like 5 vegetables with we've talked about this at one of the early episodes. I was like 5 vegetables with every single meal, 5 spices and herbs with every single meal. Right. And I was eating that way for years, and I'd be farting nonstop, feeling bloated nonstop. And I don't know if I shared this here, but it's TMI, but it's completely gone. For years, every once in a while when I take a shit, I get blood in my shit.
Wow.
And it kept getting worse. Right. So this is well over 10 years, but it would be like maybe once a year, once every other year, I would notice it like 10, 15 years ago. Right. So it's like, okay, cool. Well, maybe I was like pushing too hard or something, right, when I was trying to take a shit. And then as the years went on, it would be like, okay, so once every 2 years or something, maybe it's like once a year, and then maybe like twice a year. And then it kept happening until I was doing it practically every time I took a shit. And that was, 18 months ago when I first, remember I told you about lectins?
Yeah.
Okay, so I started to remove the lectins, and it started to seem to improve. Once I switched to carnivore, that's gone. Like,
wow.
That was happening almost every single day, multiple times a day, where I see blood in my shit. That's gone. That's completely gone. It doesn't happen at all after I switched to carnivore. So like that was something in my diet, whether it was the vegetables or something that was irritating my gut and causing that issue. And now it's not in my diet when I'm on, meat every day, and I feel so much better.
Bro, they should trademark that for keto or for carnivore. Like carnivore, no more bloody shit.
I don't know how many people don't relate to.
Bro, but carnivores, I mean, I don't want to get into like the super details, but I mean, I feel like when I eat carnivore, I can eat a lot more protein, because I feel like I can eat a lot of meat. Like I can sit down and eat a whole plate of like steak or chicken. And it's not that I'm not full. I can continue to eat more, but it's not like I'm feeling that full bloated, like, if I just ate like 2 packs of ramen, you know what I'm saying? And
so how has it changed? So like, say for me, one of the biggest changes over the last like 4 months or so has, as I've like gone more and more into like being really strict on everything, is for breakfast, I might have a pound or a little bit over of a pound of steak of something, 4 or 5 eggs, and 3, 4 or 5 pieces of bacon. And that would be like a large meal for like a lot of people. But then if I can put enough food in it, I just won't eat again until dinner time. And it would be, and I don't feel hungry. I don't feel irritated. I don't get like tired at 2:00 in the afternoon, but I'm like, good. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to wait till dinner time. I got work to do. I got this thing to do. I got that thing to do. I had, 2+ pounds of food for breakfast. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Noticed anything like that for yourself?
No, I mean, I would say on a normal day, like let's go with today. So today, woke up, fasted, pre-workout, went to the gym, did legs, did 15 minutes of cardio, 15 minutes in the sauna. I pretty much do 15 minutes in the sauna to 20 every single day. And just as a heads up, I have a Peloton now, so I've been doing 20 minutes of cardio at night as well. I'm just starting to get into where it's consistent because it was the holidays and all that shit. But anyway, I got off track there.
Your wife did that for you?
We both got it. I mean, the classes, I don't give a fuck about the classes. All the girls on there, they're super skinny. They've got nothing going on that I can see. I don't really want to hear girls talk at night. Right? I hear girls talk enough throughout the day, and so I'm good. But I just found out that they have like a game, and it's very basic, but they have like 6 different tracks. You're a little tire and you roll through, and it makes you move left to right at different times, and those different levels are the resistance. And so long story short, it's a dumbed down game of you changing your resistance to get your heart rate up and down, and then they have parts where you like cycle super hard. So it's like a fat loss kind of cardio program. So I've been doing that. We got sidetracked.
That was my bad. Okay, so you were doing the diet, and now you're doing more cardio. And
Yeah.
so how has your diet changed with the carnivore?
Not a huge amount. I mean, I basically replaced rice and stuff and more carbohydrate stuff at night to vegetables. That's the simplest way I could put it. So just in a day, my meal is typically go to the gym, come home, protein shake, protein bar, one of the smaller ones like the Fit Crunch that are lower in sugar. That's pretty much my breakfast. Then it's going to be three eggs cooked in a pan, just full whole eggs, salt, pepper, garlic. Then I do a smoothie with blueberries, strawberries, a banana, almond butter, the protein powder, the peanut butter powder, skim milk, blend that shit up. It's delicious. And then I'll kind of eat, like I'll eat a rice cake here and there or an extra protein bar, nothing too crazy, or a hard boiled egg. And then dinner's pretty much a lot of meat and some asparagus or some mixed vegetables or something like that. And that's it.
If you feel bold, if you feel curious to try this, I think that you really like this even more, and you feel satiated throughout the day, like perfectly. Whether you want to get a ribeye or something else, get like a 1 pound steak, cook it. I cook mine in cast iron because I don't have a grill, and with plenty of butter. And ribeye, I love ribeye, but sometimes it's more expensive. But like, if you end up just buying meat, you don't buy all the other shit, and you're like, okay, this is actually cheaper because I'm not buying like 13 other things that like you use this much of it and it sits in your cupboard for 10 weeks and then you throw it away or use it up or something like that. But have the ribeye with your 3 eggs, or get any steak and have it with your 3 eggs for a week and let yourself like try it like that. It is amazing, absolutely amazing for breakfast. It's like
I like it. I've got a quick story about steak, so we'll wrap this one up because we're gonna do another one right after this. We're gonna try to keep these a little shorter, a little more concise. Dude, I was at Costco and I spent $400 at Costco because I stocked up on a bunch of meat and shit. But I walked past, they had sous vide like pre-sliced steak, right? It was like $14, and I was like, and it was a pretty good sized pack, and I was like, hell yeah, like that's a good fucking deal. Bro, I got home. I didn't even realize it was $14.99 a pound, and it was like 2.5 pounds. It was like $30. And I was like, God damn it. Fucking Joe Biden got me again. And I was like, God, I just spent $30 on steak. I thought I was spending 15, but is what it is. It was still good, but geez.
Do you end up eating do you end up having steak every day?
Not every day, no. I mean, I'll switch between steak, chicken. I got a whole pack of cut up rotisserie chicken. It was like 2 pounds that I'm going to defrost, and that's going to be fire. I'll also do pork, bacon, eggs, normal stuff.
Does the pork ever get you bloated? For me, pork, I feel bloated. If I eat like say 3 or 4 or 5 pork chops or something, I feel bloated. And where if I eat like 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds of steak, I don't feel bloated.
I haven't noticed that, to be honest.
Interesting. Well, what do you guys think? Do you like the carnivore diet? Have you ever thought about trying it for 60 days? Let us know. Hit us up with a screenshot of yours on Instagram. Mine is right above here, sam.stolt, or at Test Your Levels on Instagram. And you have a new YouTube channel. You want to tell people what YouTube channel is and tell people to check out the sponsor? We forgot to do that.
Yeah, my new YouTube channel is Testosterone and Men's Health. You can search that. Instagram's obviously Test Your Levels. TikTok is Test Your Levels. You can check out HT Gains. I have an estrogen blocker, aromatase inhibitor alternative. That's all natural. That's what this thing's. I'm all backwards. Wow, that's bad. right there. Wow, it was like backwards, left, right, flippity fuckity. Oh man. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Sam, where can we find you?
everywhere. I also have something to tell you about the social stuff, but we'll do that in the next episode. Leave us a review, guys. Please leave us a review. What you think. Do it on Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever you listen. I'd love to hear what you guys think, or hit us up on Instagram. I'd like to hear from you guys. We'll talk to you guys next time.